Hello, everypony, and welcome to episode 7 of the Brony Bookclub. This week we have on our guest, and I'm going to. Could you tell us how to pronounce your username? Because I have no idea.
You're not the only one who has that. It's Nia Ruzu.
Okay, Niaruzu. He's the author of Thrown Abroad. It came out very recently, and yet very much becoming one of the big fan fictions on FIM Fiction.
Yeah.
And then we also have Sam, of course, our co-host.
Yep, that's me.
So this week we'll start off with the usual, giving off the questions to our guest. So, first off, what tag will you see on a fanfic that makes you really want to read it?
Most of the time that's comedy or adventure. Or a combination.
Oh yeah, those are, maybe less on adventure, but comedy's always great.
Yeah, I enjoy both of those.
Oh yeah?
Comedy, usually short stuff.
What tag do you see on a fanfic that will pretty much guarantee you won't read it?
Well, there's very little that I won't read, but one thing I always avoid is anything Glop related. Aside from that, I'll read anything. Anything.
Sam has found a brother in arms.
Yay! Yeah, I'm very much the same. I'll read most stuff, but clapping I will stay as far away from as possible.
So, how did you get the idea for Thrown Abroad?
Well, I've had a lot of ideas, pretty much since I started reading fanfiction. But there was one point where I was thinking, I want to write something, and recently I had read the fanfics Smoke and Mirrors and The Changeling to Remember, which were before Thrown Abroad the highest rated Changeling fic. So I thought, well, I'll write a Changeling fic because, I don't know, inspiration. That's really it. Well, not some sort of type reason.
There are worse reasons to write a fanfic. So what's your favorite aspect of Thrown Abroad?
The favorite aspect is that I could make up pretty much everything Changeling related, like the word usage and their culture, and the incredible snarkiness Sunclake has.
I find that hilarious because that's pretty much what I love about it too.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Everything. All right. What advice do you have for any pony listening who wants to write fan fiction but isn't really sure how to start?
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed while writing that I didn't come across in a lot of tips was that it's usually best to start out small, I think. Don't, try to write the next Lord of the Rings or whatever, but just, take your hurdles one at a time. Start with little things like working on your grammar and stuff, and only after that, trying to write good characters or plot twists or anything.
Okay. That's definitely good advice.
Certainly.
Who are your favorite professional authors, and how did they affect your writing?
Those are Douglas Adams from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I swear, every time.
Every week.
Well, I just really like the style of humor. It's my favorite, really. It's just it's seemingly very random, but in the end, everything makes sense somehow. And it's just all around funny. I mean, I haven't read all the books, but I really, really enjoyed the humor. And another author who really inspired me was Jim Butcher, who wrote the Western File series.
Oh yeah, Roy is now your friend forever.
Yeah, I drove you, but this is a call.
There's a computer in the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook the laptop because I'll break it. But yeah, I really, really enjoy the Dresden Files because of My Little Pony that I got into it, which is weird actually.
The Dresden Fillies, I would guess.
I really like the way he brought exposition and general style of humor and the incredible way the Dresden is portrayed in the books. Just makes such strange jokes every now and then, but it makes sense.
The building was on fire, and it wasn't my fault.
And it wasn't my fault. No, it's the flaming poop-throwing monkeys.
I swear. Yeah, he's actually literally my favorite author. He's like, I love Jim Butcher. He's just great.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. I really need to finish that series.
Oh yeah, the next one's coming up later this year, I believe, like December or November, I think is the next one. So,
cool.
book 14! Jesus, so long.
I have a lot of catching up to do on that one.
Yeah. Alright, so, last question. Can we have any kind of sneak peek on what's up next with My Little Changeling's Friendship is Weird?
Yeah, I'm working on it, but I have a little bit of writer's block, sadly. But
happens to every pony.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But the next episode chapter, whatever, will feature pets mainly.
Oh,
for that. So,
all right. So next we're gonna discuss the week's theme, which is slice of life. Now, I'm not actually sure where the term comes from, but as far as I know, most people, when they try talking about slice of life, there's always one example that most nerds will bring up, which is Azumanga Daioh, which is an anime that is the purest slice of life. Like, it's basically anime Seinfeld. Like, those two things are the purest slice of life you could ever find. Because there's literally no plot. There is no overarching story of any kind. It is literally just the interactions between the characters, which is ultimately slice of life. But as me and my co-hosts were talking about before the show, that most slice of life aren't pure. You know, they're mixed with other genres, or at least they still have some story structure of some kind. But they're still trying to emulate that. They're still trying to emulate. Make it feel like it's more about the people and their interactions than it is about this huge story or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slice of life. Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of Azumanga Daioh. It's pretty funny. But yeah, really, it's slice of life. But a lot of people just tend to call them normal fics, but that's a bit overgeneralizing, I think.
That is.
Yeah.
Well,
it was interesting as I was reading. Then I was reading this fic and looking for other slice of life fics to try and read, and it was interesting trying. I haven't had too much experience with slice of life just because it's not generally what I gravitate to. Like, I'm the type of person who will watch a show, and if it's particularly episodic and doesn't have an overarching story, that's usually kind of a point against it for me. But so I'm trying to get a hold on exactly what it is, and it seemed interesting that I could so rarely find something that would be, quote, pure slice of life. I was trying to get a hold on the genre, and I ended up talking to Roy about it a good deal before recording to try and figure out exactly what it was. It's an interesting one, certainly.
Yeah.
I see people handling two different ways to explain what slice of life is. Either it's just general mundane day-to-day stuff the characters have, or it's in fanfiction I've seen people describe it as something that would happen in the series itself.
No, see, I'd say the first one is a lot closer. I'd say what the second one's more describing, that's normal. Like, normal fic as a tag, it's just like, oh, this is something that it probably won't happen on the show, but it isn't too far outside of what could happen.
That's how I've seen that used mostly, I think.
Where slice of life is a lot more like with your fic, it's a lot more, well, how do the characters interact? If I throw this character in the mix, what happens to the overall It's a lot of that, and that's why I actually really enjoy it, because for me, every medium, I think the characters are probably my favorite part, which is one of the reasons I love yours. I mean, there's just so much fun character stuff, especially your protagonist. I mean, I guess we could transition to talking about Thrown Abroad. I mean, Suncloak is freaking hilarious.
Quite so.
And not only is he just funny, and I guess now I'm able to completely see the Jim Butcher Dresden Files similarities. Now I'm like, oh my god, it's totally first-person awesomeness.
That's true, actually, in hindsight. Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking initially of making it first person, but I didn't think it would really work, considering I was really, really, really inexperienced with writing when I started.
Yeah. And I guess like you mentioned before, how you did the changeling culture and their vocabulary and just their, I guess, mindset was so interesting. Like the entire, and I guess you could actually see a little bit of in the show just with Chrysalis, how she did have a different mindset than most villains of the show would have. And so when you were able to take that and go, okay, well, how do the normal changelings think and their worldview? It was so interesting. Like, I'm almost like, okay, when I do my large universe kind of thing, I'm definitely gonna have to steal all of this.
Yeah, and it definitely, the first-person inspiration, definitely, I certainly noticed that. And, I know it wasn't technically done in first person, but you got enough into the main character's mind that it really got me thinking similarly,
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh. See, what else to talk about with Turner Abroad? It's early in the morning and we're tired.
Yeah, seriously. No, for me, it was interesting. As soon as I heard the concept behind it, it got me thinking about it a ton regarding, I mean, obviously changelings apparently need love in order to survive and all that stuff, but if willingly given, would it be able to sustain them, and would they be able to effectively have a normal relationship, since in a way, giving love is kind of what any good friendship and any good loving relationship does anyway. And I mean, it got me thinking a lot. And then when I actually read it, a lot of that stuff was addressed, and it was pretty awesome. It was a good way of looking at that, I thought. It was an interesting thought experiment.
It's definitely interesting. It made me think about those kind of things. Like, wait a minute, like, so could technically, like, in this universe, could a relationship be had between a pony and a griffin? Like, that'd just be weird. Like, but then, like, well, am I being speciesist?
Oh no, interspecies romance.
I don't understand. But yeah. It's definitely interesting. And yeah, the changelings are just cool. Like, especially when he meets up with other ones and they start talking, just like, what?
Yeah, certainly. I'd be interested at this point in checking to see if there are any good ship fics involving a changeling. I mean, I know that's me just saying I would be interested in checking out a ship fic. That doesn't happen too often, but I mean, exploring it in the context of a romantic relationship would be interesting too. So I don't know. Yeah, you got me thinking about this a lot. Huh?
I haven't read any of them, but I guess there would be.
We could just call Coffee Grunt, and he could just make it for us.
Oh, that'd be nice.
He goes, he's been on the show. We can do it.
Yeah, I'd trust him to do that.
All right. So I guess we can move on to the next part, which we're talking about updates to things we're reading right now. So I'm going to start off. Actually, quite a bit in this 1 week. A lot is updated. 3 chapters from, I either call it the Blue Blood trilogy, but specifically right now it's the Prince of Ponyville. The Prince of Ponyville is updated by Kavande 3 freaking times, and I'm astounded and enjoying it so much. That is one of my favorite ongoing fics, and I love the fact that it updates so often. It's really great. Challenges and Kisses, which I mentioned last week by Raven's Dagger, that is also updated again. I'm glad that's keep going. It's like a weekly slice of adorable, so it works perfectly. And then one I haven't mentioned, Moving On by Seattle Light has updated. That's a really interesting fic. It's basically X years from the story and it focuses on Sweetie Belle, who she's gotten her cutie mark. She's apparently got her cutie mark in music somehow, and she is a musician, but she's also discovered that she's really good at magic, and so she's Twilight's personal apprentice. And Twilight is now the Archmage of Canterlot. And it's just her it's actually very slice of life like. It's basically just her day-to-day life. And the warnings for some people, she is a lesbian with Scootaloo, but that isn't that important to the plot at all. Like it's important that they live together, and it's there is some parts where you're like, wait, what? But for most of it, it's just great. Like the most recent chapter they just updated is getting to see Apple Bloom again, and that was great. But it's a really good fic. I actually like the idea of going, seeing how all these characters would be all these years later. Especially Sweetie Belle, because Sweetie Belle is best pony. So, Sam?
Nice.
You know what? I've been going through while you've been talking just to make sure that none of them that I've been reading have updated. And, man, I'm really having some bad luck in terms of finding ongoing fics that actually update regularly. Because, yeah, I mean, I have all my fan fiction bookmarks and one particular folder for it for ongoing ones, and not a single one of them is updated since last week. This is nuts. I want more updates. I want more My Little Chrono. Seriously.
I know. What is up with that?
We need to ask him about that.
Me too. All right, Niazuru, what do you?
Almost.
I almost had it.
Almost. Well, lately I've noticed I've been reading really, really not enough fanfics, so I decided to, do a dig around, and it's not really that recent of an update, but I really like bringing up Blue Blood. It's the sequel to My Little Alicorn. It's noted as slice of life, but it's God, I stumble a lot. It's a really fun fic, but I can't really say anything about it without going into spoilers and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, could you
generally saying it switches a lot between just daily kid life and then makes it switch to political stuff. It's funny in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
But
can you refresh my memory? Because I can't. I remember. I know I've read the description for it. I just can't remember. What is My Little Alicorn? I'm just.
It was about Luna pulling a prank on Princess Celestia, making her into a filly, but it goes a little wrong, and they have to work out a way to get her back to normal. But the weird thing about that fic is it kind of turned into a very dark story later on. But the sequel is really much better. It's really focused on slice of life and comedy instead of other stuff.
Okay, I'll definitely want to check it out now.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think it's really underrated.
Huh. All right. Next we move on to suggestions for slice of life kind of fics. So first off, I got to do the you can't have a slice of life discussion without bringing up. Yes, Anthropology Exists by Jason the Human.
Oh God,
I don't want to. Everyone loves Anthropology. I mean, it's pretty much like if you had to go, what is the most classic slice of life fic for this fandom? It is pretty much Anthropology, because even though it has a huge twist throughout the entire thing, it's still slice of life, and it's great. So yes, we have to mention that. But I want to talk about some other ones that don't get as much coverage. First, Pink and Famous by PGA Brony. This one's it's a one-shot. It's really well done. It's basically Pinky, a little bit, into the future. Basically, Rainbow Dash gets accepted onto the Wonderbolts, and everyone's excited for her. And then it's talking about like, oh, Rarity's had these successes recently, and Pinky kind of realizes like, wow, everyone else has this thing that they're kind of famous for, or that everyone cares about. And I just throw parties. So it's her trying to get some level of, it definitely follows Pinkie Pie logic and how she tries to carry it, but it's her trying to become, if not famous, then at least more known for what she does. And it's really well done. And the ending is perfect. It's a normal fic because it is slice of life and normal. And it definitely feels like this could have been an episode of the show, and it's a very good lesson. And I really enjoy it. It doesn't have as much love. It's not one of the bigger fics, but it's very good. And then another one of my first ones I ever read is A Friend in the Night by Shotomon, which it gets confusing in my head because I read it and then I read Progress, and they're both about focusing on Luna in that same kind of slice of life way. The only difference is this one's a lot more grounded. It's about basically her personal attendant becomes friends with her, and it's just their slice of life adventures kind of thing, like just what they do day to day. And it's really, really funny. And it's definitely like Luna and Celestia have a prank war, and it gets crazy fast. And it has a really good ending with Discord being unleashed, and what was Luna doing when Discord was unleashed, and it's really good. Another one was like, I think it's just kind of overshadowed a little bit by Progress. Like I always have to think about like, Oh, Progress is the one with the abacus. Okay.
Hmm.
So...
Now, what was this one called again?
A Friend in the Night.
Okay.
I definitely recommend it. It's very good.
Yeah, I read it. It was really good. I wanted to mention it, damn it. What
All right. All right, Sam, what do you have?
Well, I being the, you know what, when we started this, I hadn't quite planned on this, but I seem to have cemented myself as the newbie who just ends up reading all the new fanfics and stuff. So this was fun. I just went around, in the I looked up a slice of life fics on film fiction and just, tried to find a couple one-shots that seemed interesting. There were a few I found that were interesting. One I found that was pretty funny it's called Pinky's Tooth. It's a pretty recent one. It's just a one-shot, and it's Pinkie Pie's lifestyle of eating pretty much nothing but sweets catching up to her. And apparently she has a crippling fear of dentists. And so it's just this thing of all the other ponies trying desperately to get her to the dentist, despite the fact that she is utterly terrified of it. And it's, simple, but I found it very entertaining. One I found less on a funny side that was just really, really interesting. It was called Monochrome, or well, actually, the fic as a whole was called Still Life, but there's only one chapter, and it's considered complete. The chapter was called Monochrome. It's by an author called Sugar Pesticide, and it's basically it was really weird. I don't think I've read anything quite like it. It was as though the author was trying to capture a snapshot of the relationship between Featherweight and his father.
Huh.
And it was highly descriptive. Like he was just describing a moment in time. It was really interesting, and it's real short. It's like 1,000 words. It's quick. It's a quick read, but it was one of the more unique and strange and touching in a weird, abnormal way that I've read yet. It was really interesting. So yeah, I think those two are the main ones I'd recommend of the stuff I read.
Okay. Niaruzu?
Yay, closer.
Closer!
Yes! Not many people can get it right, to be honest. I took a look around fan fiction, and I noticed there's quite many fics, well, many too, that are actually really old and have been uploaded just recently. I mean, Sunny Skies All Day Long, I remember reading the last year. I think when it was still on DeviantArt or Google Docs, just only that, but I noticed, God, I've been a brony for really, really long. I'm old. And it was the same case with Mort Takes a Holiday. There's only 3 chapters on fanfiction, but there's actually 9 chapters on DeviantArt. They're both really funny, really comedic. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people know about them, but I wanted to mention Friend of the Night, but yeah.
Haha. Taking that one from you.
Yoink.
Damn thief. But yeah, Sunny Skies All Day Long is really popular, but because it's the top rated spot on fanfiction, so I don't really think I need to mention it. But Mort Takes a Holiday, it bounces around a lot, but have you guys read it?
No, I haven't.
Mm-mm.
Well, if you check on fanfiction, it's only like 3 chapters, but if you look it up on Equestria Daily, you can actually find there's 9 chapters, and I think the total is like 90,000 words or something. It's really long. It's still slice of life. It's really fun. It's about the pale pony of death, Mort, who suddenly comes to the conclusion that, oh my God, I have a day off. And he has no idea what to do with it. So he goes to Celestia, and she points him towards Twilight and her friends. So, of course, Twilight starts freaking out and organizes a fun day filled with friendship for him. But it doesn't exactly go right. Obviously.
Oh, it couldn't.
Well, Pinkie Pie's involved. Of course it can't go right.
Never.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of the first slice of life and comedy fics I read. It hasn't updated genuinely since October last year, but it's really good.
Well, don't give up hope. There have been many cases where something will be that long without updating, and they'll be like, "Oh no, wait, I'm actually updating. Hold on."
I think he's rewriting it.
Okay.
Which it could have done with. I think it's really inspired by authors like again Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett.
I was gonna say that sounds like something Terry Pratchett would write. That sounds like a Discord book.
In like the first paragraph of the story, he makes a reference to a certain author named Terry Pratchett.
Oh well, I never do that in my fiction. That is hypocritical humor. All right.
Making references to real life people, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so and last thing, we talk about non-pony slice of life fics. So I'm gonna let you guys go first because mine is a bit of a odd one. So Sam, you go first.
Yeah, you know I always take the shortest.
By going, I got nothing.
Yeah. And for that, yeah, no, you're right. I got actually, I just started my new job this week too, so it's been busy in general, and I actually did get kind of distracted on FimFiction. I enjoyed the slice of life one-shots I read, and just ended up looking for a bunch of them there. And then later I was like, oh, hey, maybe I should look for some other ones. It's a little late for that. So yeah, good job predicting that.
Oh, call me Nostradamus. Actually,
yeah.
no, that would be horrible.
Okay, I'll refrain from that then.
Right, Niaruzu, you.
I've did some looking around for non-pony stuff. It was actually kind of difficult to find something I really enjoyed. It looked around the Dresden Files and the Scrubs, and I actually thought I could find fan fiction of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on TV Trope. Turns out you can't find it there.
Really?
Which I find odd.
That's surprising.
But on a really weird... I have no idea why I got the idea to look for it. Wow, that was a nice sentence. I just thought, man, you know what would make for good life fan fiction? SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
what?
Boy.
There is actually enjoyable slice of life fan fiction of SpongeBob SquarePants. I found one named In the Bathroom.
I'm scared.
No, it's not shipping. But it's about SpongeBob and Squidward somehow getting stuck inside the bathroom of the Krusty Krab after closing time. And they start making really... actually, SpongeBob starts making really awful jokes about toilet humor, and Squidward just gets frustrated. Standard SpongeBob stuff. So really, it's slice of life. There was one in particular bad joke, which was about bathroom goats. They come out in the wee hours of the morning, because they're bathroom goats. Wee hours. I was like,
oh God.
Damn it. Can't believe I that.
Okay.
I'm kind of terrified that SpongeBob fan fiction exists. I don't know if I'll get over that anytime soon.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, mine is called The Stuff of Legends by Ritu3K. They should get a username that's pronounceable. Okay, I'm just going to say this right off. I'm not going to completely talk about this. I'm saving it for episode 10. But basically, it's a Legend of Zelda fanfiction that is a high school AU, which, those of you guys who don't know, a high school AU is an alternate universe where all the characters are in high school. And you go, wow, Zelda high school AU? That's got to be terrible. Actually, it's really good. The characters are incredibly well done. Like, just there's so much detail put in it. Like, when they describe how, like, Link wears, like, a green sweatshirt, and he wears cargo pants that have tons of pockets in them, and it meant, like, he keeps putting things in his pockets. and he always has a Rubik's Cube with him, and when he's bored, he starts fiddling with it. And I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect. And there's just so much stuff like Sheik is a master of parkour. He just practices it all the time.
Huh.
And the only thing, not counting the thing I will rage about in episode 10, that I can really talk about with it that's weird, is that for some reason, Sheik and Zelda are different characters completely. And I'm like, oh, I've seen that theory, I guess. And then it's like, oh, well, Sheik and Link are going out. And I'm like, that's kind of... And, like, it's not a flaw, obviously. It's just a... Like, if they were both girls, I would not have a problem with it. So I can't be that too upset about it. So it was... I will just say the reason... But I want to recommend it. I actually do. I highly recommend if you're a Zelda fan. However, it is one of the largest examples I've ever seen of the golden fanfiction rule. If you have a good story, don't screw it up. And he totally did.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is.
Just one thing. How the hell does Link answer questions in class?
Oh, no, he talks.
Link, what's 2 plus 2? Heh!
That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Link.
So, what's really cool is basically they're all going to like the Hyrule University, and like they mentioned like their neighbors are like there's the like I don't think it's not called the Twilight, but like there's like a Twilight kind of country near them, and then there's Holodrum, and I can't remember the name, the place from oh god, what's it called? Oracle of Ages, the place from there too. Labyrinthia or something like that. Yeah, like all the countries you ever heard mentioned, all of them are like just neighboring countries to Hyrule in modern times. And it's but so it all centers on like this special academy where you get to go there if you're able to do one thing really well. And so Link's there for archery. His other things he does really well, like the other classes he takes fencing and horseback riding, which is just hilarious. And then like I think Zelda's there for like history, like Hyrulean history and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
And God, yeah, it's really, really well done. Especially my favorite part is like at some point in the plot, Midna shows up, and really cool when Midna shows up. Like she has this great storyline. She's really well written. The interactions with her and everyone else are hilarious. And then it's just like, wow, this is awesome. And then yeah, the writer had to screw it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was the only slice of life fiction I've read outside ponies. Like for some reason, like we're like the big fandom, like of all, at least of the stuff I read, because I'm like other things I read that are big fan fictions, like Doctor Who. Yeah, there's not that much slice of life in it. Well, let's see. Teen Titans. Yeah, there's not that much slice.
I think it helps too that we actually. I mean, I'm sure it does exist somewhere, but as much as I've seen huge sections on fanfiction.net and such for a bunch of different fandoms, I've never seen an equivalent to FimFiction, an entire website specifically devoted to holding fanfiction for a certain fandom and actually managing to hold the vast majority of it, you know?
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
I guess there's that, and there's also, I think because our show is largely slice of life on its own, like there is so much slice of life to the show itself. Like, the character interactions are most people's favorite parts. The characters themselves. So slice of life just kind of comes naturally to us. It's just something we do. Like, oh wait, what if this kind of thing happened? You know?
Yeah.
What's Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo doing later in life? Let's do a little bit of that. It's like, oh well, you can just talk about that and write it, and it's good. You know, it's just something our fandom does well.
Quite true.
Quite true.
Both
All right.
are slice of life.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is it for this week. Before we go, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything, just send it to the Brony Bookclub at yahoo.com. Last week I said Gmail, but I fixed it in the little write-up. So I hope everyone caught that and didn't start sending it to gmail.com. That'd be horrible. So, that is it for this week. Thank you, Niaruzu. It has been great having you on.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Kind of nervous, but I think I did sort of reasonably well-ish.
Yes, certainly.
Oh, you have no. Last week, our guest was recording from the lounge in his new dorm. That was the only way he could get good signal. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was one.
Right. So, goodbye, everyone.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.